Okay, guys, good afternoon and welcome to the show. The lies about wealth we're going to talk about today. Now, when I say lies, well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but when I talk about lies, people might be thinking, what are you talking about lies about wealth? But I think I'm really thinking about there's a lot of misconceptions and inaccuracies about people's perception of wealth and how it's obtained and things as well. So hopefully we could try and clear some of that up today. I think it's quite apparent to me anyway, and a lot of other people, that everyone has kind of been drilled into them for a long time. Work hard, get a good job, save money, stay out of financial trouble, and everything will kind of work out. And not to say that it doesn't, but if you're trying to build something and create quite a lot of wealth and kind of compound exponentially, then that's not the way to do it. Working hard is a big part of it, Jim, and I'm sure you'll stand testament to that. But in a certain way,
it's a big, it's a big subject. But I think the most important thing is you've actually nailed it on the head about work hard, get a good job, save money, all the rest of it. It's like, yeah, okay, that's what you're taught at school, and this is what you're taught by your peers who haven't actually attained to the dizzy heights of financial freedom and huge wealth. So if you're listening to this, you've got to ask yourself, the person that's giving you the advice, what have they achieved? And what have they got that you want? And if you don't want anything they've got, why on earth would you listen to them then? Because they would have had what you wanted in the first place, and that's why you would listen to them. So that absolutely makes sense. It's interesting you said about the lies about wealth. I just think of lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Statistics, yeah.
To prove anything. It doesn't matter what in the world. I could prove everything by statistics. That's it. Anything and everything. Anything and everything. It could all be proved by statistics in one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, people might think, but you need to work hard, and that is true. And a lot of entrepreneurs and successful people, and they have worked very hard in the beginning. But I mean, consistently in jobs where look at like things like nurses and people that do jobs that require a lot of hard work, but they're not sitting financially in a good position. They're just working a lot of the time paycheck to paycheck.
That's a very good point. The people are about the hard manual labor, do the heavy lifting for everything. They're not, in a position where they're actually financially free or anything like that. They're to the same situation, working from paycheck to paycheck. So what does that tell us then? Why is that? Why?
Well, it goes back to, like you say, we're all taught that. That's what's taught. That's what's rolled out in the curriculum for schools, and that's what you're supposed to do. Get an education, get a qualification for a specific job, and stick to that, and just work hard at it for the rest of your days until you retire at 60, whatever age it will be at the time. And that's inducted into everyone.
We're taught the principles of money, if we're ever taught at all, to be honest, at school, by people who actually haven't actually attained financial freedom.
Yeah.
Not to degrade the teachers. The teachers are there teaching a specific subject, but when it comes to business and it comes to numbers, when it comes to understanding the dynamics of budgeting, understanding the dynamics of building wealth, you really have to have someone that actually knows what they're talking about and who has trodden that path already before they can actually teach it. Because all they're doing, as I said before, they're just teaching you to get to where they are, because they don't know any different. And the problem with this is you don't know what you don't know. And it's kind of my job to educate people for the things that I've learned from people that are far more successful than me.
To get to that next level.
Yeah. Billionaires and multimillionaires and people like that have actually taught me these valuable lessons over the years that have allowed me to get in that position as well. I think that's just the most important thing we need to understand here. What is the truth about money simply isn't true at all. in retrospect. I mean, we're going to expose these things, and 6 are the biggest lies about wealth, and replace them with principles that can help anyone build I think, a stronger financial future for themselves.
Yeah, and yeah, these 6 things that we're going to break down today, and like you say, we're going to replace what we would say, do you know, these lies with actual principles that actually help people be successful and and build on their financial future. And what you were saying there about people that are a lot more successful than you and a lot more wealthy than you, when you look at them, what I've noticed is that they have a very different perspective on things and how to do things, yourself included, Jim, but even people a lot more successful than yourself and wealthy and things, you learn from them because they've just got a different view, because they see things differently and how to do things. The first one that we're going to cover is hard work makes you rich. And it is a bit of a lie, because, I mean, you do have to put in some hard work, but ultimately, to build something, you need to create something that doesn't involve your hard work.
Yeah, okay. Hard work, let me call it a half-truth.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's like, it does take hard work. It's not going to happen to you for free, and it's not going to happen to you just by accident. Mm-hmm. So it kind of does take hard work, but I think you have to be, would I say intelligent enough? But then how do you become intelligent enough? Well, you read the right books, you listen to the right people, and you follow the right advice, and you implement it as a strategy. That's what I think that would be. So it doesn't really guarantee wealth alone, hard work. But what I would imagine it does guarantee is it's like we spoke about, the nurses, the builders, the care workers, the delivery drivers, many incredibly hard working.
These are working 12 and 14-hour shifts and everything.
Yeah, they're not financially free. I think though, I think when we say this though, under my principle and what I'm teaching people in the blueprint is actually, yes, you can be financially free. But it just takes a bit of discipline, and it takes a bit of consistency. So if you are a nurse, a builder, a care worker, a delivery driver, or anything, any blue collar job, any white collar job, whatever that is, it doesn't matter. You can all attain the same principles of being financially free if you invest your income wisely and consistently. I think that's the most important thing.
Yes, if you've got your income and work to have a surplus on that, and then invest that separately to your day-to-day.
It is really, because in a job you're trading time for money, and that's okay, because there's only so many hours in the day. So let's analyze that. You've got 160 hours a week, and if you're then sleeping for 8 hours a night, you're then you're minusing 56 already from 168. So that you're sitting at 112. So you've now cut your days to 16 hours a week. 16 hours a day. So you've got 16 hours a day. Now, if you're spending 7.5 hours to 8 hours at your work, so then you're minus, just say 7.5 hours, because everybody wants to work a wee bit less now than what you used to. I used to work 44-hour weeks, just basic. And yet people are like, oh, I don't want to work 35 hours a week. It's like, what? No. I used to work 160 hours a week.
I say 35 hours a week, that was me.
When I was a financial controller and building my side hustle at the same time. So that then leaves you 8.5 hours. And that's all about, if you're sleeping for, 8 hours a night, you're obviously preparing yourself at night to go to bed, and you're sitting maybe watching the telly or something like that. So how are you spending these hours, the 8.5 hours you've got? 3 hours sitting, 4 hours sitting watching the telly before you go to your bed. So there's 4.5 hours you're down there. When you get up in the morning, what are you doing? You spend a couple of hours getting ready and sorting yourself out and getting your coffee and all the rest of it. So then you're down to 2.5 hours left. But you still got 2.5 hours left. So what do you do with that 2.5 hours? I mean, if you had that 2.5 hours, 2.5 times 7 times 52, you've effectively got 910 hours that you could use in a whole year. Think about that. 910 hours, divide that by 37.5. You've still got 24 working weeks that you've now created, just because you're saving 2.5 hours a day, and you're focusing on a side hustle. So basically you've got almost half a year.
Yeah, that's amazing when you add it up, and I've heard a lot of people, and I've seen it on typically on social media. I've seen a lot of people split the 24-hour day into three, and it's like 8 hours working, 8 hours sleep, and then your 8 hours. But I think 8 hours completely for yourself, and I'm like, what were you doing those 8 hours if you want to do stuff related to work? But then that's
Because
probably,
of that.
yeah,
We know what we're doing.
sit and scroll through your phone or watch TV. Or,
Yeah. The doom scroll.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important, and you know the addictive behavior. When you try to hit the back button, it jumps onto something else. When you hit the back button again, it jumps onto something else. And at that point, if you stop for a wee while, it goes back into that cycle again of two times before you get out. I mean, imagine you're trying to get out and they're not letting you get out because they're creating something that's addictive behavior towards you. So when you look at that, you're exchanging time for money. There's only so many hours in the day, and then what are you utilizing these hours, these additional hours outside your normal day-to-day routine, your work, on? And imagine if you just do 1 hour, educating yourself 1 hour. Just educating yourself, reading a book for 1 hour. I mean, that's horrendous for me, reading a book for 1 hour. I mean, I'm 20 minutes at the most and I'm done every single day. But I do it consistently and I apply it every single day because of that. And that's why I learn. So, I mean, I'm learning. I've got a glucose monitor on. And it's like, you type 2 diabetic? It's no. I just want to make sure the food that I'm eating is not creating too many spikes of glucose in my bloodstream to create an insulin resistant body. And that's when you start to get disease. So you get disease in your body, which manifests itself as cancers, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, sickness, illness, inflammation, all these different things. So that's why I'm doing it for a couple of weeks, just to see what I'm doing so far, and the food I'm consuming and the nutrition I'm consuming as well is actually in congruence, in other words, in alignment with my body. See that? How that? I mean, that's what I'm spending it on. Do you not think that's a really good investment for your future?
Yeah, because you've used a portion of your time that you've got out with what you do to learn, and then, like you said, on your health. Your health's really important to you, and it should be to everyone. But let's get back and talk about this. Hard work doesn't make you rich alone, but the focus, the wealthy do focus on ownership. Now, I don't mean, oh God, I could never run my own business. I could never own my own business. Like, no. What we mean is assets when we talk about ownership. That's what we mean. You might have your own business, but investments and property and assets that continue to produce income, even when you're not actively working. I always wanted to invest in things and assets. I mean, I'm not going to call it things, assets. It were producing income. It never relied on my ability to perform. That was my focus and my sole goal, to try and find something which will have minimum effort but maximum return without my involvement. And the true test of that is if you can go on holiday for 3 months and not do any work at all, and you come back and your wealth has grown as a result, you have truly broken that time and money equation. That's how the most important thing is. So that doesn't take hard work really to do that. That takes, well, it probably is hard work for a lot of people, because when I left school, I was like, I will never read another book again. And then a guy that was retired at 25 spoke to me, who was my mentor, ended up being one of my mentors, said, I'm retired financially free at 25 because I read these books. And I went, give me these books. Let me at them. Let me read them, for God's sake. I must be doing something wrong. It's like, why am I still working? Why have I not got any objective or vision about where I'm going to go and how financially free I'm going to be and how I'm going to get there? It's like, so I just grabbed that opportunity straight away and thought, yeah, okay, this is my last chance. This is my last effort at this. It's like, I'm going to go all out or nothing with this guy. It's just, I'll just listen and I'll do what he tells me to do. I mean, sometimes I didn't, and it took me a wee bit longer. But for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, I took his advice, because I was wanting to stick it to him, because I really wanted, what I wanted to do is I'll follow every bit of advice you tell me, and if when I fail, you're going to be to blame.
Fortunately, that didn't happen.
Damn, he made me financially free by accident. That's effectively what he did. It's like they all did that to me, my mentors I got involved with. It was like, my God, it's like an accidental multimillionaire.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
But yeah, but you're right. Initially, there was a lot of hard work, and that was involved in your jobs and things as well. And everybody will be saying, because your hard work initially does bring you that income, because you will need that to obviously find a starting point, and then ultimately ownership then creates that wealth. So I think anybody that's watching really needs to ask themselves: what do you own that actually pays you out with your general income for your job? Do you have anything? And if not, how could you do that? If you really want to achieve
Ooh,
wealth in your future, you're
What do
going to
you
have to
own?
think
At
about
that
that.
time when I first started, what did I own? I owned endowments. I owned a versatile investment plan, which we did additionally over and above our endowment. And it wasn't to secure against a house or anything. We just felt we needed to put 40 quid away a month
Yeah,
for a certain period of time. I think 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, or something like that. And we felt that was necessary to do at that point in time for no other reason than just like, nah, we think we need to do something.
there's something ongoing
This was
other than
before
just
I read books and everything like that. We felt at that time it's like, no, we need to do something. It's like, we're not wanting to get later on down in life and realise that, oh God, we've no saved
nothing to
anything, we've
fall back
spent
on.
everything, we've squandered
Yeah,
everything. And that was the most important thing for me. So these are the mainly the two things was our endowment plan, because we went to capital repayment. So our endowment plan was released against our previous house. So we
yeah.
had the endowment plan, we had the versatile investment plan. My career was taking off as I was learning more in accountancy and becoming more better at what I did, and adding value to what I did as well. So that was another thing. Think about that as well. The education, the value add I did, and the career ladder that I was climbing as a result gave me more money. Therefore, I was able to invest more as well. And I think that's the point. It leads us to lie number 2.
Yeah.
Investing is only for rich people. Absolute shite.
But everybody thinks that, and everybody thinks, oh, it's because they've got lots of money that they're doing these investments and things. But
Nope.
Jim, you're a prime example. You started from, well, let's say you started from nothing and built it up
I think
because you
I had less than nothing. I was a negative
at one point,
at
yeah,
that point. I had less than nothing, and I was like searching the ashtrays to get some doubts so I could do some roll-ups, because I couldn't afford to buy cigarettes. It's like that's how crazy it was, eh?
yeah,
And when you think about it, I had less than nothing, so nothing would have been an improvement at that point in time for me. So this is the lie. Investing is only for rich people. The reason that they got rich is because they started somewhere and
yeah.
invested small amounts, and they realised the eighth wonder of the world of compounding
Mm-hmm.
and the J curve. The fact that go 5-6 years, okay, and then it starts to get traction. You start to make a higher return because your savings are going higher and higher and higher. And then each time they get 10% or 5% return on them, they're actually adding on and adding on and adding on. You make money on the money, and that's how it does it. The truth is that that investing is often how people do really become wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need thousands of pounds to begin, as I said. It
And so,
really takes.
just quickly, what
Well,
would your advice? What would your advice be? I mean, people that are watching might think or listening might think that, well, I don't have thousands of pounds, and they maybe don't even have hundreds of pounds. Now, obviously,
yeah.
if you want to start investing, you need some sort of capital to start that. Now, whether that's, I mean, would you say, joint ventures, lending, or just save until you've got a pot, or a mixture of these things? I mean, it depends on your strategy, I
The key is
suppose.
just to start.
Yeah.
Whatever you've got. I think rather than actually looking at rather than when you get your paycheck, rather
Mm-hmm.
than actually thinking what can I spend it on and what's my commitments, you should think about what can I invest in first. It
Mm-hmm.
will give me a long-term future later on. You've got to look long-term. You can't look at the
Yeah.
short term. It will give me a long-term future, and then what have I got left to spend? That's what you should be looking at, and that will then focus you on things like: do you really need that brand new car?
Mm-hmm.
Can you not get away with a better alternative? It's maybe less of a monthly amount. Have you got lots of monthly amounts in credit that possibly you can consolidate to alleviate your position, and actually make it a smaller payment every month on the same terms, remember, or better terms, a smaller payment every month on better terms, but realize actually that later on you're going to have a lot more money. Therefore, you might pay a wee bit more for moving that debt out a bit in terms of timeline, but you'll have more cash to invest right now to make a higher return to pay off later on. And it'll be a lot easier because you'll have more money left.
It's
Does that
funny you
make
should
sense?
the car conversation is something that I'm having at the moment about new cars and not getting a new car.
Well, look at the company car that we've
Yeah.
got now. The car that we've got now, the Kia Ceed, not your one, but the other one, 250. It started off at 350 quid a month. Okay. That's when you first got it brand new. And then the contract came up for renewal after 3 years and it dropped to £250 a month for the fourth year.
Mhm.
And then they've come back again. There's nothing wrong with the car. It's still mint condition. It's like, what you want to do for the 5th year? I went, well, give me a quote, £117 a month for a year.
No-brainer.
This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's like, what? 117 quid? That's just £1.5 grand for the whole year for a Kia Ceed, and it's in
And
great
they're good
condition
cars.
still.
They're definitely good cars.
Yeah, we've looked after it, and this is year 5, and we're not really doing anything but the servicing, which is 250, 300 quid a year.
Mhm.
It's like, that's mental. That saves you an absolute fortune. They gave me the option to buy it at 10 grand, but I was like, nah, I know the now, because I know I'll get it after year 5,
Yeah.
maybe in year 6. So we'll see how things go. And that's what I mean. That's the most important thing to remember. It's like, you have to understand where your cash flow is. You have to understand how that works out. You have to understand what you would do otherwise, and then trade off what you actually need. I mean, I run about not in the Ceed because everybody else has it. You've got the good cars. You've got a brand new car, Richard, and I've got the old banger, which we first got about 7 years ago, 2018, I think it was. We got it.
That's an 18
and
plate. Yeah.
I'm still using it. That's my runabout car,
Mhm.
and that's all I need. I don't need anything else. Bought and paid for. No outlay except the maintenance every single year, which is a few hundred quid, if that, maybe reaching to 600 quid if I need to do something major like brakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a no-brainer. So what do you think I can do with the rest of the money that I'm saving on what is maybe a payment of 350 quid a month times 12 minus the 600 quid I would spend on the one I've got, 3,600 a year. You invest that 3,600 a year in a 5% return, and that becomes 3,800 the next year. And then another 5 times 0.15, that becomes £4,000 the next year. And then times 1.5, that becomes in the third year £4,200. See how that's mounting up?
See, yeah.
And it's like, hold it, wait a minute. This is all because I decided not to get that new car.
Mhm.
So this is free money, because you would have bought the new car and you would have paid for it that way every single month with that money. So the money you're saving in that, by the car that you're running about in the now, that you're having to just pay for maintenance, this is a no-brainer. You've found yourself 3,600 quid. And the following year, you've got another 3,600 quid. That's not just that. So think about in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years' time, actually, you've got 10 grand that you've saved. 10 grand. And everybody sits and complains and says, I've not got any money. I can't afford things. And it's like, hey, just do what we do. It is called delayed gratification.
Yeah. And I think that the main thing, and I know the main thing in there is the time. The time's the important thing, and we spoke about that in last week's show. But it's been quite consistent, and you just demonstrated there. If you've not got thousands of pounds to start off doing an investment, you could find ways to make small changes to allow you to have small amounts to possibly save to make a bigger amount to invest, and just then invest in those small amounts every month, and let them compound and grow and work over time. Because that's what wealthy people understand, and that's why you're saying what you were saying, Jim, is that time is often more important than the actual money, because you could get a very small amount of money into a lot more over a period of time.
Yeah, this is the biggest mistake everybody makes. The biggest mistake isn't starting small.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry? Starting small? But I want to make a fortune. The starting small makes it so easy on you to develop the habit up here.
Yeah.
It takes 28 days consistently doing something to develop a neural pathway in your brain to create a habit and break down an old habit if it's there. It takes 28 days. If you don't do that for one day, you have to go back to the start of 28 days again and do it for 28 days. So it's 28 days to develop a habit consistently every single time. And that's why it's so important. Just start small.
Yeah.
Put a £5 in a day. I've not got that. Put £2 in a day then. It
As long
doesn't
as you're doing
matter.
something and creating that
Yeah.
consistent habit, yeah.
It's just creating that habit. And the biggest mistake for everybody is never starting.
Yeah.
If you never start, how are you going to end? With nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start somewhere. Start now. And if you don't start now...
And all too often, yeah, they put it off, and then a year later, they're still no further forward.
Don't ever say to yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Because remember, tomorrow never comes. Mm. It has to be today. It should have been yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
But the better one is today. So if you didn't do it yesterday, do it today. That's the most important point. Here is lie number 3. This one really gets me.
I knew you would like this.
Wow. How does no one understand this? Debt is always bad. A complete and utter lie. Debt's good if you position it right. I've got loads of debt, but I tell you what, I've got debt that I make more money on.
Yeah.
Significantly more money on that debt in return as opposed to what I pay for that debt. And I mean, by example, if you're paying 5% for your borrowing, but you're making 25% on that return on that money, you're clearing 20% on someone else's money, the banks. 20%.
Yeah. So when we talk about debt, we're meaning in reference to possibly like lending for mortgages and interest-free mortgages and stuff like that. Stuff that's going to leverage your position and allow you to make money, a lot more money on that amount that you've got. Lending.
It's flight or fight, isn't it? Flight or fight response. Most people hear the word debt and immediately think, "Oh, problems."
Yeah.
Oh no.
Really
no. I know what happened last time when I got into debt. I know what happened last time when I got into debt with my credit card, and it's like that's how they perceive debt. Their credit card, their loan for their mortgage, their loan for their car. That's the type of debt they think about. It's like, as far as I'm concerned, that debt isn't good debt. However, my mortgage is good debt. Why is that, Jim? Your mortgage is good debt. Because I borrow at a really low rate, but I actually use that to actually buy assets that make me significantly more. And I'll never pay off that mortgage until it ends. And I probably might keep it going after that as well, because I could make a hell of a lot more money on that money that I'm borrowing.
Productive debt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my loan to value on my existing house is probably something like 33%.
Really?
It's like, or maybe less. So do you think the banks are going to see me as a really good proposition to lend to at that level? Yeah. Do you think I'm going to get a high interest rate or a low interest rate when I loan money at that level?
No.
Low. Yeah, definitely. So if I can get it at low and get it fixed for a period of time, and I could then use that to develop an assets, which I get maybe a fixed return in, that's the easiest way to do it when you think about it. If you get a fixed return in an asset for definite, and that's always a fixed return at 10%, and you could borrow at 4% at a fixed return as well, it's like, where's the problem here? You're making 6% automatically every single time. That makes absolute sense to me. And that's why people think debt is always bad. But they buy things, they take your money out and all the rest of it. As I said, cars, luxury purchases, the designer gear, credit card spending, as I said.
And that's why people have that reaction to even the word debt or thinking about debt, because they associate it with all these things that are taking money out of their pocket, basically.
Flight or fight.
Yeah.
It's like straight away. They fall into that caveman mentality. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, I've had this before, and I know what happened last time. It all ended up in tears. I split up with my partner because of money. It's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with it ever again. Yeah, that's the type of things. People split up because of money, but it's not because they've got money. It's a lack of money. It causes
they've not managed it properly.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons people split up when they're partners or couples. That's the problem here. Productive debt, let me just say this, productive debt is used to acquire assets, generate income, increase in value, and they create opportunities as well. This is quite interesting because OpenAI and Anthropic are actually going to list on the stock market soon. And it's like, oh, there's a frenzy. They're going to be worth more than $1 trillion. And it's like, I am not investing in these companies.
No.
This is an area I do not understand. I understand AI and I like it and I use it, but this is an area I don't understand fundamentally. And at this point in time, as far as I see AI, it's a bubble and it's frenzy
Mhm.
until it actually settles down and we actually work out, yeah, what can it actually do? Because I've still not worked out what can it actually do. I've
It's
worked
still
out a
very
wee bit.
much.
Yeah, I worked out a wee bit what AI can do. Oh, well, it could do that, it could do this, it could do that. But will it actually replace people? Will it actually do that? I'm not so sure.
I think you're
Because
right in
I
saying
don't
that.
like dealing with AI.
Mhm.
I don't like dealing with AI. It's like, if I get somebody at the end of an AI on a phone, it's like, oh, God. It's like, straight away my heart sinks. It's like when you used to get somebody overseas, it's like, flipping heck. It's like, these people don't even understand where I am.
Yeah.
It's like they have no idea. And I'm trying to tell them, it's just round the corner. And it's like they're going, I have no idea. Or they're trying to fumble about and you're going, you've got no idea because you're in a completely different country for the call center. So it's like AI is going to be the same and to that degree, I think. I think that is the case. So I think it's going to come down like a house of cards at some point and have a rebase. So I'm
Mhm.
not prepared when I'm making a steady amount of money every single time and it's always coming in, it's more or less guaranteed. I am not prepared to put that at risk to take what I see in comparison to what I do now as a gamble. Just on a
Yeah.
frenzy, I might make money in AI.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with the AI thing. I mean, it is very much like you say, it's a bubble, but it's still at a very kind of hyped stage. I think people try and oversell it, and
Yeah.
definitely in customer service and dealing with people face to face, you're never going to truly replace a person in that scenario.
Yeah,
If you've got a business and things, don't try and overdo it with AI because you'll lose a lot of custom.
definitely. So debt
Yeah.
is not always bad. It's not always bad. There is a way to structure debt, so it's good.
Mhm.
Every business, when you think about it, every thriving business has debt to some degree or other because they use the debt and lending to make more income and generate more business and use it. That's what Anthropic and OpenAI is supposed to be doing. They want to expand into other areas, but they need capital to do it. So if they flow and get all this money in, they'll be able to reinvest that in as well in order to build the brand bigger. That's what they're doing it for. So you're not. So if you're investing in these companies, you're not going to own significant parts of the companies. You'll own a few shares probably, but it won't be huge amounts. I mean, time will tell. I've every belief that probably in the beginning there'll be a huge frenzy over it, but at some point in time, I think it might there might be a rebase or a rebalance. But it's not my area of expertise. I'm extremely um, expertise. My expertise lies in property and property investment, residential rent particularly. I definitely think that is so. So they use productive debt to acquire income and assets, and the wealthy simply don't ask how much something costs. They ask what what production of return is it going to get.
It's like when you look at a property investment, Jim, you look, obviously, it's not just about how much is that property cost. It's like, what is the return going to be on this
Yeah, can
purchase?
I service the debt?
Yes.
Can I service the debt and make a reasonable return out of that once it's done?
Mhm.
So what is my net margin rather than my net return rather than actually my gross return? But my gross return is important because the net return could be influenced by the overheads, whether you create more overheads or not by the repairs and improvements you do. I mean, you do the repairs, but you might be able to hold off on improvements, you see, because the property might not need it that quick. So therefore, in a time where a market's declining and there's a wee bit volatility and maybe unemployment and some people can't pay as much rent towards it, you have the option where you could just cut back on the improvements area, and then what you can do is then you can give your tenant some sort of relief with the
Mm.
rent level.
Yeah.
That's how you do that. So you build momentum while you're growing, then you rebase when a contraction comes along, and then you possibly look to reinvest again by releasing equity from your assets to buy what everybody else has gone to the wall because they didn't understand the dynamics of the game. They didn't
Mhm.
understand the guidelines and what was needed to do. So that's the most important thing. So when we leave this subject, the lesson is understanding the difference between debt that hurts you, credit cards, car payments, mortgages, buying a bigger house than you really need, Mortgages, yep. And debt that helps you build wealth. Investments.
Mm-hmm.
Blue chip stocks, more or less guaranteed to pay out every single time. It's consistent. Right? You know, these are the sort of things. Diageo, Glencore, you know, the supermarkets. Everybody has to buy food. Repeat purchase. McDonald's, everybody does it. Coca-Cola, everybody does it. These are the sort of things you sort of look at as well. So that's the most important thing. Here is lie number 4. Education guarantees wealth. No, it doesn't.
And that's where people think, oh, I'll study for years and get my degree and things, but that's not going to guarantee you wealth.
Look at the catastrophe that's happening now. A lot of the people who've gone to university have got all that pile of debt and now saying, I regret going.
Mm-hmm. There's so many people that have studied for years, got student loans. They've got student loans up to their eyeballs. They eventually, after all the years, have got their degree or whatever they've studied for, and they can't even get a job.
You know what I told my 2 boys when they went to do a degree?
Mm-hmm.
First thing I says to them is, do not go away and live somewhere else. Stay at the house. And I tell you what, it's Fife College. It's local to us. Are they doing that? Are they doing that course now that you're looking for? Absolutely. Do it there and just commute into Fife College every day. Save an absolute fortune. Did they have any student debt? No, because they just stayed home and they got degrees. They both got degrees in their respective areas. One in networking, one in light and theatre production. And that's exactly what they want to specialise in. And they saved an absolute fortune. So they did a degree and they don't regret it because they never need to take out any debt at all. This student experience it's all about the experience. Is it hell? It's all about the education and getting the knowledge and expertise and actually paying for it as minimal as possible. That's what it's about, in order to provide and add value to later on in your journey by the skills and expertise that you've learned. That's what you learn more. See, that is the most important lesson I would say you learn out of being a student.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, not what you learn at university.
Not the actual academic side of it.
It's the process and what you've done and how you've done it. Maybe the failure you've made as a result of all the student debt, but have you learned a valuable lesson? Absolutely. It's maybe cost you a fortune, but you'll not do that again, will you?
Yeah. I mean, would it be fair to say, I mean, right back to when we've all been at school, and if we go into further education, and when you're learning to, or you're studying to achieve something, you're ultimately learning to do something that's going to allow you to get a job to earn money. And that's all, like, obviously education and
that's it.
Earning money, but you're never taught how to actually build or keep or multiply the money.
Yeah, we talk about that. They're both different things, aren't they?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Earning money, and people go, oh, you're on 150,000 a year. That's unbelievable. Yeah, but you're still broke at a different level.
Mm-hmm. You've
probably not got any wealth.
Egg and chips thing.
Yeah, you've probably not got any assets. You've probably got too many liabilities because you spent it all. And it's like that's what they don't understand. It's like they're two separate things. People are not rich just because they have fancy cars and big houses and they're on a big salary and they've got a highfalutin name on their job.
Mm-hmm.
Managing director. It's like, okay, there's only one person that works in the company. Managing director of yourself.
Which is them.
Yeah. And I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in charge of the mortgage broking company. Okay. Well, wait a minute. You're not the person that works in it. And everybody's going, congratulations. It's like, you're not the person that works in it. It's like, you've got a job. Congratulations. You've got a business. So they're not the same thing.
Yeah, and then, like you're saying, you could get an education, but I think the financial education on how to actually, keep, invest, and multiply it, and teach you how, or learn, or find somebody to teach you how money actually works. Like you always say, Jim, get money to make money on itself, rather than you constantly having to work to earn it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. A lot of people actually spend a lot of years learning how to earn the money.
Mm-hmm.
But very little time learning how to, and this is the most important one out of it, is how to keep it and invest it and multiply it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they don't understand. For me, and Branson does this today, Richard.
Yep.
Branson, he does this today. He never stops learning. And it's like, wait a minute, you're a billionaire, multi-billionaire. It's like, why would you not stop learning? Because you never know what opportunities are out there. You never know how you need to pivot in order to keep in that. So it's like being in the sun, isn't it? You're in the sun, right? You've got the magnifying glass and you've got the bit of paper. Okay, you've got the magnifying glass. We've all done it before. You get the sun, you focus on the paper, and the paper goes on fire. And it's kind of that's where you start when you start creating real wealth. But what everybody, it starts to do that. Some people fall by the wayside. Well, a lot of people fall by the wayside actually, because they reward themselves far too quickly, and they think they don't actually need to do anything else. I've achieved it. I've got to the top of the mountain. And it's like, okay, but let's climb a bigger mountain then, if that's the case.
Let's keep the momentum going. Yeah.
You still have to learn. Because when that sun moves, which is metaphoric for this, when it starts to move and the industry starts to move that you're in, you're no longer on fire anymore. You're not momentum.
You need to move with momentum.
You've lost it completely. That's the thing. So most people, and very, very successful people, never stop learning. They focus on the skills to create value and opportunity. And knowledge alone isn't enough. Applied knowledge creates results. You've got to apply it. I'd see people buying books. It's like there's none online about here now, but it's like they buy a book that's really successful about a journey of somebody that's really, really made it. The Virgin Way, Richard Branson. It is a masterclass on how to run a company and perfect customer service. The Virgin Way. You've read it as well, Richard.
Yeah.
And that is a masterclass on how to deliver customer service. But if you've read it, that's great. But it doesn't guarantee you're going to be instantly successful unless you actually apply the knowledge to create the results. If you don't execute what you learn, there's not going to be anything at the end of it, is it?
Yeah, it's all very well saying you're reading books and going to seminars or going to, whatever, but are you doing anything with it?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Hee-haw is the expression. You're maybe doing nothing.
In Scotland, it's an expression.
We used to call them professional functioneers.
Yeah.
Because they used to turn up and they were at all the functions, or all the trainings. This was in network marketing, at all the events, everything that went on, but they never did anything with that knowledge. They never have implemented it. They never used it to the best of their ability. They never really learned anything from it, but they just turned up every single time. So all they did was just make up the numbers. And then some, after a period of time, would then turn around and say, this isn't working for me. It's all your fault. And it's like, well, it's not all our fault. How much of this have you implemented? None. So
yeah, I mean, I think for anything,
what
like
expect to happen?
Yeah, these people that go to all these functions and things, and I mean, showing up is a big part of it. And that's great if you keep showing up consistently. At least that proves something. But then at some point in time, you need to take action and do something with what you've been learning or what you've been listening to.
Absolutely. And that then leads us to line number 5. Wealthy people, you're just lucky.
Aye, you're lucky, bugger. That's what
you're lucky. Aye.
It's like, well,
you got in at the right time. You got in at the bottom floor. And it's like, eh? What do you mean you got in at the bottom floor? The bottom floor is always the bottom floor.
Yeah.
At any time. Because that's where it's starting, isn't it? So property investment, you got in 20 years ago. That's when it was, the right time to get in. Aye. But if you get in now, which is now there's the bottom floor for this, it's like in 20 years' time, you'll be where we are today.
I mean, I'd be tempted to say if somebody was saying to somebody that's quite successful and built wealth that they were, you were lucky or you got in it. I mean, I'd be tempted to say I'd take that as an insult.
Yeah. Because
it's not about luck.
Because you've put all that effort into it. You just kind of just brush it off and okay, I was lucky. But I always look at lucky as in luck. Let's break it down into the prospective letters. Luck, labor, L, U, under, C, correct, K, knowledge. Labour under correct knowledge.
Knowledge.
That is what luck is. Applying it.
Back to applying the knowledge like we just spoke about, yeah.
It's very, I mean, luck does exist, and that's how I said it's labour under correct knowledge, really. But the wealth is really built on luck alone. Well, I know that. It takes the development of things like of the habits, the skills, the discipline, and the networks long before success arrives. You know the amount of places I used to drive to? I used to drive down to England just to get a 1 hour session with my mentor.
Just to be in the room and learn for people, yeah.
Yeah, just to be with a 1 hour session. I mean, we had a barbecue at his house and all the rest of it, you know, and devices but the session was just for 1 hour, and that was it. All that way for 1 hour. Was it worth it? You bet it was.
Of course it was, yeah.
Look where I am today. It's like, my God, it's frightening to think if I had, oh no, I'm not going to pay that price. I'm not going to do that. You don't know what's going to work and what's not. But 95% of your luck, which I would say is luck, is just turning up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just turning up. That's it.
Because if you keep turning up, you're going to learn these small things along the way, and ultimately they all combined will result in your success.
You'll probably end up being accidentally successful.
Yeah.
Just like people are accidental landlords, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
there's so many people that fall into being a landlord that don't ever expect that we're going to be.
Absolutely. So this is developing habits and skills and expertise and all the rest of it, and turning up to these events and networks and everything like that. And what it's doing, it's preparation. When preparation and opportunity meet, that is the point of readiness for anyone. So the point of readiness is preparation and opportunity when they meet. So the opportunity is going to appear some point in time. You just don't know it because you've not prepared for it. That's why you don't see it. But if you've prepared for it, you'll see the opportunity. It will appear. Trust me, it will appear. And so you've got to prepare, and preparing is the penance you've got to do in order to be successful. Prepare.
And if you do all that preparation, you're going to be, that point of readiness will appear, and then it'll just fall into place. And it might come across as, well, you might appear to be lucky, but really you've been preparing for it.
Look at a good example here. Lockdown came along, and we were all told to stay indoors, and we can't run our businesses anymore, and we'll have to switch off the tap, which is called turnover and revenue. Okay, so I was about 2 days into it, and then I basically phoned you up, Richard, and said, we cannot furlough because there is opportunity here. So we didn't furlough. We worked on the business still, us two. And then what I did is I went to work in a field. I went to work on learning about a field that no one else had learned about yet, which was social media and retargeting strategy and how it works, and video. And how to hone and develop better videos. So I started doing videos on 5 things to entertain your kids when you're locked in the house with them, 5 things that's not going to drive you nuts, 6 things that's going to do this, 5 things, you know, all these different things. And I used to do loads and loads of video content, send them out all throughout the communities. It had nothing to do with a state agency, but it had everything to do with me learning, preparing. Can you hear that? Preparing. So what is the opportunity?
You really do. You run with quite a lot, and obviously pushed.
Where is the opportunity?
Better now.
But most people would say, "Where's the opportunity then?" The opportunity was when they said, "By the way, you can go back to work." All right, I've never left.
Yeah,
it's like so when everybody's like, "Oh," waking up after hibernation and going, I've got to go to work. Oh, have I? And it's like, I'm going. Hey, I'm off.
Yeah,
and I'm already selling properties without anybody walking in the door online.
And we watched people in the years following the lockdown and things start to pick up social media and video and things, and we were way ahead. We'd already started.
And you'll never catch up. You'll never catch up because we're always honing and developing still and new skills and expertise. So no one will ever get to our point for that very reason. because they don't understand what we've done and the journey we've taken and the preparedness we've made in order to meet the opportunity when it
And
comes.
grab that opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the point of readiness. I'm always, and you're probably always as well, to some degree or another, we're always preparing ourselves for when the opportunity appears.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know when it's going to appear, where it's going to appear, how it's going to appear. But I tell you what,
What
we're going
that
to see it a lot
opportunity
more
might
than
be.
everybody else. Let me explain to you how that happens. You go and buy a car, and you think, no one else has got this car. I'm buying it because it's quite unique. And as soon as you get in your car, every second car it passes you, it's the same bloody car.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's like, I bought this car, and now every car, and it's because you are in this car now, and you are more focused on this car, you now then see everybody else has got that car as well.
Yeah.
I thought there was only one that had the electric blue in that car, and there's about 3 have just passed me.
And then you notice that somebody up the street's got one, and it's like you never noticed before.
And it's because you become more focused when you do that. And that's the same. That's the same as when you're doing that as well, about the lucky people and the preparedness and the lucky you appear to. But what I could say to that is really that, well, Stephen Brown says it all the time, isn't he? Success leaves clues.
Success leaves clues, yeah. It definitely does.
You just need to look at somebody else's success and see what they've achieved and what they've got, and how, not what they've got necessarily, what lifestyle they've got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's now become a joke. It's like, Jim, you're never in this country anymore. It's like, I have, honestly, Zafar said that to me the other day when I was talking. I says, how are you getting on? He says, where are you going next? Because you're never.
Where are you off to next? Yeah.
Yeah. And I says, well, in fact, I'm actually away at Malta. For a diving, and it just so happens look, have I not always wanted to swim with sharks?
Yeah.
Now I have with Caribbean sharks, but guess what appeared in Malta yesterday on the news?
What, I must have missed that. Was it a great white?
Great white.
I wouldn't be getting in the water with a great white. But
I'm in there like a flash. A great white shark. Oh my God, that is a dream of mine.
So that was in the Med. So that's quite rare, actually, for that to be in.
And everybody's going, yeah, they're in Malta. They're a breeding ground in Malta now. They've established a breeding ground in Malta. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to Malta. I'm going diving. See the preparedness and the readiness I've done. No. The year of getting from a 0 to a rescue diver in a year and doing 100 dives. I am now prepared for this opportunity, for the great white.
I mean, it'll be an experience if you were to see it.
Honestly, I get teary and emotional about this, about the fact that this is what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be in the water with the sharks, and the great white is the ultimate. And it's like, wow. And I will continue to do that. So see how this has happened. The preparation has led me to the opportunity to appear
to be able to do that. Yeah.
For the point of readiness. This might happen. Hey, listen, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. At some point in time, there'll be other sharks. I have no doubt. There's the Galapagos Islands, which is where all the hammerhead sharks are. And it's like, do you think I'm going to go to the Galapagos Islands? Absolutely. I'm going to do a wee tour of Australia at the time. This is why it's so important to be financially free. Because when you come back after a 2-month tour of the Galapagos and Indonesian islands and places like that, then you come back after 2 months and it's like, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, my wealth has grown as the result. That's the most important thing. Let's jump on to lie number 6, which is the final lie.
Yeah.
One income stream is enough. So everybody's job's going to save them. Think about that. Just one income stream. Is your job going to save you? What happens if you hurt yourself and you can't work? What happens if it's not at work? Because if it is at work, then you've got an opportunity. Therefore, you'll get full pay still because it's at work. But if it's not at work, God forbid, if you can't work, what happens if you fall off your bike, if you're a pilot, and then you hit your head and suddenly you've got short-term memory loss? Do you think they'll want to put you through another assessment?
Yeah, even if you've got a really high-paid, professional job, and your example that you always use about a surgeon in their hands.
Brain surgeon.
And it was on a film I watched just recently, and we had a big operation coming up, and he was all like hyped up, and he damaged his hand. He cut it all open, and he couldn't do it.
There you go.
That's it, done.
And that's his income gone, because that's what they rely on, your ability to perform. This is why you've got to have something alongside what you do. So I never say to people, give up your job, because that is not what you should do.
No.
Your job is your day-to-day living. Give it all. Don't be resentful to your employer, because your employer is employing you. They're giving you the pension. They're giving you the holidays for paid holidays. They're giving you everything that you should want. You'll not get that as a self-employed person. But you should take some of that income that you're getting, and you should develop a side hustle, an investment. You don't need to work in it. You just need to invest it properly. Now, I am not an advisor. So let's just recap this now, that I cannot give financial advice because I'm not an advisor. We are not giving financial advice, but this is what I did.
Drawn from experience.
I started from zero and went back to college and then got my HND and then did my professional exams, became an accountant in industry and went up to the dizzy heights of financial director. But at the same time, I was investing a lot of that money. It just so happens it was in property. But you hear about the investment funds I had at the beginning, which allowed me to put down as a bond for property. And there came to a point where I actually phoned up Standard Life and said one day, your investment plan I've got with you, how much a return does that make every year? And they're going, well, it makes about 8%. I said, so it doesn't make 25% then? And I went, no, why would it? And I went, well, I'm making 25, so I think I should probably just cash it in there.
Could I take that out, please, and invest?
Yeah, because I was able to buy another property.
But initially, those investments, like you say, what were you doing? £40 or something you were putting in it, or just something?
Yeah, just 40 quid. 40 quid a month. That was it. And the endowment we first started out with in the 1980s, the late 1980s, was £26.20. Imagine I remember that, eh? £26.20 every month. for a 20 grand mortgage we had at the time. And we had to get an endowment that went alongside it. But when that 20 grand mortgage disappeared, and we had a capital repayment mortgage, we didn't need that anymore. So we were able to keep that on its own. And I was able to borrow against it. And then eventually that got cashed in as well, because it's like, that's not making as much as what I can make. And I've now got other opportunities on the horizon because I've now learned about that industry I'm investing in, and I've become an expert in it. And now I know it perfectly. I've got a system. I've systematized the whole thing. So let's get it cashed and get it invested. And that's what we did. So one income stream is not enough, I would say. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. People have believed this job will create security, and it does, but you always make sure you create your own security as well, just in case. Don't rely on one source of income. Wealth builders really create, and I'm not going to say multiple income streams, but they create a few income streams to protect each other. And what I mean is, if your job goes down, you've got another one running at the side of it, which will actually possibly help you out in the interim. So one has another, and investments and possibly royalties. If one income stream slows down, the other one continues to flow and probably gets better. It usually works like that. One goes down, one goes up at the same time. That one goes down, that one goes up. Financial security comes from that diversification, not dependence.
Yeah. Because you are solely dependent on your income if you're just relying on your job. So look at other ways to create different forms of income stream. Now we're going to round up today, and I wanted to round up with the final statement and kind of the biggest lie of all. And I'll let you say it, Jim, because you say it quite a lot, and it's true, and it rings in people's heads, and it's been indoctored into us when we were younger and things. And that is,
we can go through this ourselves. Biggest lie of all: it's not for the likes of me.
Yeah. People say it to themselves in their head all the time.
Yeah, they'll say that to you. Definitely. It's not for the likes of me. Wealth is only reserved for the select few. Yeah. So why can you not be one of the select few then? That's what I don't understand. It's like, okay, it's like when we sat in a room one time and we were going on about videos and who's going to do the walkthrough videos and everything. And I turned to you and they said, only 1 out of 3 of you will do this. And I turned to you and goes, well, it looks like I'm the one then, eh? Because I knew I was doing it. So why do you not do that for wealth? Why can you not say to yourself, it's going to be me?
And it's funny, Jim, because I remember that day in that room, and there was me and you, and there was people from like other parts of the country and everything, and what you followed on and done was just exponentially compared to what anybody else in that room's done.
Yeah. So, and then they talk about, this is another misconception. It's a skill, it's a mindset, and a process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily the case. You can learn that, remember. You can learn these skills as you go. People who build wealth aren't always the smartest. Yeah, that is probably right, actually. Yeah, people who build wealth, they are often more consistent. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Disciplined.
Consistency is the big thing. As a big thing.
Yeah. And what, you finish off here, Richard. You finish off.
I think it's just really important, and what we've went through today, and from listening to what you've drawn from your journey and your experiences in that, Jim, it's change what you believe about money, and you could change your whole financial future. I think is really the key thing there. People's view and perspective on money and wealth and how it's obtained and how it's built it's just, you need to flip it on its head completely. And I think if you listen to today's show and all our other shows as well, it's become apparent that you need to change that mindset.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I think we'll leave it there today. But yeah, the lies about wealth, I think we've covered them quite well. And I enjoyed kind of opening that up today and really putting it out there for interpretation to other people. So if you've got any comments on that, jump in the comments box, of course, and I will come back to you. You could reach out to me direct about anything we spoke about today. My direct emails and the blog attached to this. And unless you get eaten by a shark, Jim, we will see you see you on the next show. I'm sure you'll be fine. Hopefully, that would be an amazing experience.
Every time I used to go in the water, I used to hear that sound, that music. But now it's like, I love sharks. Give me a cuddle.
Well, hopefully you do see something.
Get off me.
Well, hopefully you do get to experience that. That would be amazing. So, and don't get you, and we'll see you next time. So yeah, we'll leave it there. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks for that, Jim. We'll catch you next time. Bye.